As we know, there are a lot of indie games out there, and because of this, many good games don't get exposed enough. That's why today we will talk about underrated and hidden gems that deserve more love and attention. I would also love it if you guys could chip in with your favorite under-the-radar indie games in the comment section. In no particular order, let's get into the list. As the title suggests, Cattaails' Wildwood story puts us into the mysterious land of Wildwood. Many people often say that this is the cat version of Stardew Valley. However, in Cattaails, farming is less pronounced. It still maintains the same relaxing vibe though. The gameplay loop is simple: hunt, gather, explore, and mine, like the usual popular life sim games. The customization, decoration, and various tasks in this game are quite extensive and interesting. Also, you can even romance and have kittens in this game. If you're looking for a traditional roguelike game with fun, balanced, and challenging gameplay, Shattered Pixel Dungeon is one of the best bets. It's an adaptation from Android that is now also fully released for PCs. It's easy to get into for anyone but hard to master. The gameplay is like the usual roguelike in that it relies on RNG. But in this game, your strategy and your exploitation of the mechanics also matter a lot. It's a simple roguelike with surprising depth of content and challenges. Definitely a must-play for roguelike fans. No more words needed. Zortch is a boomer shooter game that embraces the aesthetics of old-school FPS games. In this case, it reminds us of the aesthetics and gameplay of the Quake series. Playing the game feels like we're going back to the late 90s, but with polished mechanics. The game is pure fun with added comedy to the theme. The important gameplay aspects are polished, such as interesting weapons, unique enemy behaviors that is hard to predict, and classic yet good level design. Definitely pick up the game if you love retro shooters. Jaded is a 2D linear action platformer game that seamlessly blends both platforming and combat in a satisfying manner. What's more, it's free now in its early access and said to be also free during the full release. It surprises me as it has quite polished content. The movement mechanics are interesting. There are slow-motion dashing and teleportation mechanics to add depth to the gameplay, making it more addictive to play. There are imperfections, but as a free game in early access, we can expect an expanded game in the full release. If you love the underwater theme but prefer a more relaxing experience, Loddlenaut is for you. You're sent by the corporation to clean up underwater trash and pollution. There is a story in the game, but unfortunately, it's rather short with just around 4 hours of gameplay. You're free to go anywhere. Nothing restricts you. The gameplay is simple. It's like doing power washing under the sea while also befriending the Loddles. While it may not offer unique gameplay, it serves as one of the coziest games on the list.
Yo, this city ain't never gonna let two base boys like us in.
Alright, now we have a VR game on the list. Have you ever felt like piloting mechs and robots like in the Pacific Rim movies, combined with real steel? Underdogs is one of the best at the moment. This is a roguelike game with physics-driven mech combat that shows how fun it is to play. The core elements of the game are solid all around, such as the physics, audio, graphics, and roguelike elements, ensuring replayability. There are tons of upgrades, weapons, and add-ons to choose from. If you have VR, I guarantee you this is one of the best games you can get.
Some of them, I think some joke thing.
Orbo's Odyssey is a comedy, fast-paced 3D platformer that is surprisingly one of the most fun movement-based games that I've personally played in a while. I'll say it now. One thing I didn't like is how short the game is. I finished it in only around 1 to 2 hours. You can maneuver through the big map using your crazy spinning movements. The game is not for everyone though, as some people may get dizzy playing it. Apart from its level design and fast camera that may be an issue, the gameplay is so fun that I hope it gets an update or a proper sequel. Small Saga is a JRPG-style game where you play as a rodent living below the streets of London. At first glance, I already loved the presentation of the game, even more so with the content. It is truly one of the best hidden gems in RPGs. While the story follows the typical revenge plot trope, it still delivers in an interesting manner to keep us engaged, with additional world building that adds depth. There are no random battles, and the turn-based gameplay is very solid. And don't get me started on the music, it captured my attention from the first moment. Please check the game out. Killbug is a first-person shooter that utilizes retro aesthetics. Can you guess? Our enemies will be bugs and insects if you hadn't noticed. It's an endless arena shooter with seemingly simple gameplay at first, but then it surprises us with added mechanics. The movements and combat feel so fluid it even compares to Ultra Kill, with elements such as the wall running. The core gameplay is quite simple though. Kill enemies and earn the highest score you can. The art may not be for everyone, but if you're looking for simple, addictive fun, this game is for you. As the title suggests, this is a totally accurate priest simulator game if you've ever wondered what it's like to be a priest, especially in Poland. The game is weird, funny, high in satire elements, and in some ways reminiscent of the Postal games. It even calls itself a mockumentary game. Fight Satanists, demons, perform exorcisms, renovate churches, and other things that you imagine priests do. The overall core gameplay is an absurd sandbox with short story and hilarious characters. If you're looking for something different, or if you're familiar with Postal series, give the game a try. Cavern of Dreams is a 3D action platformer game in the style of N64 era aesthetics. In some ways, it does remind us of Spyro games. Even the main character is a dragon. The overall atmosphere floats between cheerful and unsettling in a nice, seamless way. The game does a good job designing levels that encourages us to explore in a slower and more thorough manner. The platforming itself is fun and relatively easy. So if you're seeking nostalgia from the N64 era, or if casual gaming is your thing, this is an easy recommendation. Grimhook is a fun action platformer FPS game that utilizes a lot of movement mechanics as its core gameplay. The game is free and only lasts around 20 to 30 minutes. I think this serves as more of an introductory game, as the developers have stated that they are working on the full game. Despite its short length and being free, you'll be surprised at how fun the game is. The only reason not to try the game is simply because it's short and will leave you craving for more. Let's hope the full game will be announced soon. STASIS. Bone Totem is a point-and-click adventure game with a horror and unsettling atmosphere. The game provides a very good storyline in the dark sci-fi setting of the underwater world. The story and conversation are quite heavy, similar to Disco Elysium, and it will keep you engaged throughout the whole playthrough. Even in the grim, deep underwater setting, there are a lot of challenging yet well-crafted puzzles to solve. For some, maybe there are too many, and it may not be to your liking. However, with well-crafted storytelling and intricate cosmic horror atmosphere, it's one of the best if you like the genre. Path of Achra is a roguelike with simple presentation, which may be off-putting for some. However, it excels at delivering solid roguelike experience. Despite its retro graphic style, it modernizes the gameplay to be more fast-paced and easier to get into. You will spend quite your time strategizing your characters and figuring out what to build, so your character can be OP. There will be diverse arrays of builds as you choose your race, character, and religion with no randomness in the character skills. If you love tinkering with builds and short-run roguelike, the game is for you. Islets is a Metroidvania game that, despite its obvious differences in theme, is definitely reminiscent of Hollow Knight. In Islets, it's a more laid-back, relaxed experience with quirky characters, yet it also offers quite solid combat and an interconnected world. Don't underestimate the combat though. There will be quite a challenge in your encounters against various enemies if you're not careful, although it's not at the level of the Souls-like genre. If you're planning on playing a casual Metroidvania, Islets will welcome you well into its own charm and simplicity.